Thanks for joining us here on the News at 10. I'm Morgan Romero. Our top story tonight, the West Ada School District wants input from families on new boundaries that could decide where their student goes to school. Aspen Jumper joins us in studio. And Aspen, how many schools does this impact exactly?
Morgan, it's going to affect students at 13 different schools. The district wants to make sure these schools have enough space for current students and new students they anticipate will come because of all of the growth. But before making any final decisions, district staff took questions from parents tonight.
We know that this is not about dots, numbers, and lines. These are children.
The West Ada School District is looking at potentially changing its boundary lines for the 2026 and 2027 school year.
Well, if you take one drive around the valley, you know that growth is happening.
Michelle Edmonds, Chief Communication Officer for the district, says when establishing boundaries, the district looks at several priorities.
The most important thing is to ease overcrowding. There are a number of others, including walk zones, making sure that students who are within that 1.5 mile radius of a school can walk to school.
She says a new boundary proposal designed with the help of parents would affect 13 schools in the district and about 2.5% of their student body, which comes out to be about 1,000 of the 39,000 total students.
When you adjust a boundary for an elementary school, sometimes you have to adjust the boundary for the middle school, and then that has the trickle-down effect to adjust the boundary for the high school.
She says several elementary schools are over capacity, and it's time to relieve some of that.
We need to make sure that the schools are more balanced in their approach to learning with the number of students they have in their buildings.
In the north side of the district, which will see the largest of changes, Star Elementary is currently over capacity at 137%.
They actually had 5 new students show up in the last week.
A new school, Independence Elementary, is opening in Star next school year. The boundary proposal moves 337 students from Star Elementary over to Independence Elementary.
For elementary schools, we want to have them at about 95% capacity.
In the south, Pleasant View Elementary is also over capacity at 116% and already has an enrollment cap on about 2 square miles in the southeast corner that forces any new student in that area to go to Hunter Elementary next door instead. On Tuesday, the district held an open house at Pleasant View to hear from parents.
We're here listening.
One parent says her kids have changed schools a few times, but they consider Pleasant View home.
Part of the reason that we built where we're building is because we wanted to be in this school.
Audra Taylor is a parent of a 4th grader at Pleasant View.
Thank you for having all of us.
She worries if her daughter goes to a new school for 5th grade and then middle school after that, 2 new schools in 2 years could be hard.
I am hopeful that they can grandfather those students that have that one last year. It's just a new environment and it's scary for them. And when they feel comfortable and confident, I feel like their education will thrive from that.
Edmonds says grandfathering students isn't off the table, and the feedback process is meant to help establish next steps.
We care about the students, and we want what's best for every single student.
The district has another open house tomorrow, Wednesday night at Hillsdale Elementary School, and a feedback survey on the district website that is open until November 26th. Edmonds says this is just a proposal. It can be tweaked. It's going to go before the board in January and a final vote in February. So this is just initial steps on this proposal.
And this is something that West Ada talks about so consistently because it's a huge district. That area continues to grow and expand.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to point out that Idaho has open enrollment. So like parents can enroll their student wherever they want if the district allows.
Right. If the boundary passes and say some parent isn't happy with where that district boundary is for their student, they could apply to go to another school. Granted, the school district needs to approve that and look at capacity levels to make that happen, but that is still an option in this state.
Okay, Aspen, thank you. I'm sure we'll stay on top of this for you.